everybody. This is Dr. Kristen back with another edition of Abbey Research Reads. This week we are talking about the Icelandic novel Angels of the Universe by a man named Einar, whose last name I am not going to even try to say because there's letters that are not phonetically known to me. And what I have learned about studying Iceland for Colonizer's World Tour that's happening this week over on the main channel, links below, is that I shouldn't try. I just shouldn't try. But I wanted to read Angels of the Universe, because I found a list of Icelandic books, and the way this one was described was every Icelandic child reads this in school. And it is the Icelandic version of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So I was like, interesting. Let's go with that. It is short, 167 pages. It's available on Open Library on the internet for everyone who's not Icelandic. I obviously read it in translation. I found this to be a beautiful book. I really loved it. It's hard to describe exactly kind of what is happening in it, but here's the basics. So it's about a guy named Paul, who when he was 40 years old is admitted to the Klepp Psychological Hospital, and he talks about his descent into madness from schizophrenia. That's the phrase he uses. That's kind of the way it's talked about a lot. We get both his childhood growing up, we get his relationship with his brother, we get stuff about the inside, people he met on the inside, people he grew up with on the outside. There's a lot of it. And I have a couple pages of notes, but there's just a couple themes I want to draw out. Again, the prose is gorgeous. It is an immersive book. All the chapters are really short. And so you feel a momentum that even when it meanders and you're not sure where it's going, because again, he's an unreliable narrator in the way that, because of his mental health, even when you're not quite sure where it's going, the pace of the book feels assured. Like, you know you're okay. You know that wherever you're going, you're going to get there and be taken care of as a reader. He talks a lot about a lot of this is the obsession with how Icelandic people are connected to each other. So one of the things that I learned is that Icelanders don't really have last names. Your last name, and you're not really referred to by your last name. Your last name identifies who you are connected to. And the comment that he makes is, I trace the interest in genealogy in Iceland to the lack of trees. Because of the sparsity of trees, people opt for family trees, and they find forests among their forebears. I have no idea if that's true or not, but it really resonated with me because we've been studying Iceland for, a little while now to be able to do this Colonizer World Tour. They were once colonized by Denmark. Content over on the main channel. And it was a constant theme that kept coming up, that the community is really important. The family is really important. They have an incredibly high level of social trust with each other. There is a really deep sense of interconnectivity that I, as an American, don't really have a concept of, except maybe an aspirational one. So what's interesting is that in the midst of that, when someone was mentally ill for a long time, they just got shoved in a asylum. Paul's uncle works as a nurse at Klepp actually when he was growing up, and he sees that essentially before there was medication, these people would just wander around. They were treated like cattle in a lot of ways because no one knew what to do with them. So he talks about the advent of medication as the way that kind of mental health patients reclaimed their rights in a way, which is really interesting. And that this tension the whole time of, are you actually interested in treating people, or are you interested in just getting rid of them? And what does that look like? And Paul wrestles with that himself as he moves forward. Does he lose his connection to being Icelandic? Does he lose his connection to being his family? Does he lose his last name, which we don't ever learn, because he is mentally ill? Again, though, it's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I have no idea how reliable this narration is. And like I said, I can't really describe this book to you in terms of like, this happens then. There is both a plot and not. It's very bizarre. Normally, I hate these kind of books. And instead, I found myself unable to put this one down. It was published in 1997. And it's been in translation kind of ever since. We're going to put some show notes in. I found it not at my local library, but again, at the Open Library on the internet. and the Boston Public Library donated it to the Internet Archive so that people could access it. This is one of the best ways to get novels in translation, by the way, is if a public library in the United States has donated it to the Open Library after it has fallen out of circulation in their library. So you have that. You can borrow it from the Open Library. It may be available in your local library. Again, called Angels of the Universe. It doesn't have anything to do with spirituality. I don't even know why it's called that. My guess is that it might be kind of a weird translation of his original title. I'm not sure. A couple Goodreads reviewers called this easy to read and hard to describe, and I would completely agree. If you're interested in more about Iceland, please head over to the main channel where this Tuesday and Wednesday we will be discussing Iceland 101 and then the movie Woman at War. I've also fallen down a bit of an Icelandic crime noir rabbit hole, so don't be surprised if more books written by Icelandic folks, who are the most proportionately published population on the planet. 1 in 10 Icelandic adults will publish a book. Don't be surprised if more Icelandic art doesn't end up on this channel. In the meantime, I'm Dr. Kristen. This has been Abbey Research Reads. My review today has been of Angels in the Universe by a gentleman named Einar. Let's try this. Mar Guðmundsson? Who knows? Sorry if I butchered it. But son of Guðmund, a gentleman named Einar. So thanks so much, Einar, for this story. And I hope you encounter it yourself. Bye, everybody.